How many of you have checked your phone within 5 minutes of waking up today? Maybe it was just to turn off an alarm, but then you saw a notification, and suddenly 10 minutes has just vanished. How often do you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through a feed, only to realize you have forgotten why you ever opened the app in the first place? And let me ask you this. When was the last time you sat in complete silence for 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes, without once reaching for a screen? Good day, everyone. My name is Louis James. As university students, we rely on our gadgets for almost every aspect of our lives. However, this digital overload has a hidden cost: reduced productivity, rising stress, and a measurable decline in academic performance. Today, I want to persuade you to achieve digital balance. I will discuss the problem caused by excessive screen use, psychological reasons behind our dependence, and practical ways to regain control. To understand why we need to make a change, we first have to take a look at the reality of our current digital habits. The first issue is that excessive screen time leads to a significant academic decline. We often view scrolling as a way to relax, but for our brains, it is anything but restful. In a study conducted by Sultan Kanish and his colleagues, the impact on student health was found to be staggering. They discovered that a massive 80% of healthcare students exhibited poor sleep quality. Furthermore, half of these students took over 30 minutes just to fall asleep due to device overstimulation. This leads to a dangerous domino effect for students. Subsequently, Radhakrishnan and his fellow researchers has found that this delay in falling asleep or sleep latency has direct correlates with lower GPAs and a reduced ability to concentrate during tutorials. Moreover, our constant digital presence acts as a primary distractor in the classroom. Sushma Joshi and her research team has pointed out that even the missed sound of a ringing phone in class has distracted 68% of students. In addition to this, 21% of the students report feeling extremely distracted by these sounds. This suggests that even if we do not pick a phone, the notification itself breaks our focus and lower our cognitive performance. Beyond academics, digital overload harms our mental health. Hamsaini Sahimi and her team at UKM has found that nearly half of the students they study has shown the signs of smartphone overdependence. Consequently, their research highlights a significant link where higher phone addiction leads to an increased social anxiety and lower self-esteem. As Bradley and Howard warned in their research, we must act now before this habit permanently damages our future productivity. Now, moving into the underlying habits that are driving our constant needs to pay plug in. One major cause is our growing psychological and behavioral dependence on digital technology. We are no longer just using these tools. Instead, we are becoming reliant on them for our basic emotional needs. Today, the global average for screen time stands for nearly 7 hours every single day. For university students, though, this often exceeds 8 hours. Specifically, a study by Carroll and his colleagues highlights that over 50% of the students spend more than 5 hours a day on devices purely for non-academic purposes. The reason it is so difficult to stop that is that modern apps use persuasive designs. Researcher Chen and his colleagues has found that 25% of the user has admit to problematic behaviors caused by the feature like infinite scrolls and short videos. Furthermore, these features are specifically engineered to trigger dopamine loops in the brain, creating a cycle of addiction similar to gambling. Alongside with this psychological pull, many of us have suffered from a total lack of digital boundaries. Sushma Joshi and her team has found that staying online late at night disrupts the body's melatonin production. As a result, it becomes physically impossible to focus the following day because we have effectively replaced human recovery time with a constant blue light connection. Now, let's look at practical everyday steps we can take to regain our focus. The solution is to practice digital balance by setting intentional boundaries. This does not mean deleting every app, but rather using technology with a clear purpose. First, we should create screen-free zones to protect our rest. Second, Carnage and its colleagues suggest that simply removing devices from bedroom can drastically improve sleep efficiency. This is a practical and free habit change. By extension, charging our phone in a different room allows our brain to enter a state of deep sleep rest without a temptation of a midnight notification. Second, we must replace mindless scrolling with intentional breaks. In support of this, Bradley and Harvard has found that students who actively monitor and limit their phone use report significantly lower stress levels and improved moods. Similarly, Balakrishnan Radhakrishnan and his teammates is that managing this time leads to better memory and concentration, which are both very essential for university students. Ultimately, by choosing to walk, breathe, or even talk to a friend in a person instead of reaching for a screen, we reclaim our time. Implementing these small changes allow us to stop being controlled by our devices and start using them as a tool they were meant to be. When we take these steps, we move from being distracted survivors to focused achievers. As I come to the end of my speech, remember the numbers we discussed? Nearly 90% of our peers are struggling to sleep, and half of them are struggling with anxiety because of the devices in their pockets. Practicing digital balance is not just a nice to have, it is essential for restoring our focus and our health. I challenge you to take back control tonight. Eliminate one digital distraction before bed and create one screen-free zone in your room. Right, by choosing the balance over constant connection, you give yourself the chance to thrive, not just survive, in your university career. Thank you.